Welcome to Dark Sorcery. I'm Alfredo Martinez, and I have with me once again Sutekh. Sutekh, good to have you back on.
Thanks for having me, man.
No problem, no problem. And we've been talking about the Qlippoth. So how's your work with the Qlippoth been going lately?
It's been heavy, man. It's been really intense. Life-changing is an understatement. But
Yeah.
I've learned a lot. Definitely changed a lot.
Right on, man. So you've been working with the Tunnels of Set. Tell us a bit on how that's been going.
So that actually inspired a project I worked on with VK Jahanam called Sounds of a Numinous, but I'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But really intense, man. I've actually revisited the Tunnels of Set multiple times now. I'm in the process of wood burning these corridors for meditation into the tunnels. I worked with another occultist in creating a study, enhanced music ritual atmosphere for people to listen to while they learn about the different symbols and manifestations of working in the tunnels.
Okay.
But it's been quite the experience, man. As far as how it's influenced my sorcery, my interests in things have been really bizarre, just to say the least.
Okay. How
like
give an example of how bizarre.
Well, I've been really focused for the past couple of years on studying mushrooms. I think more so than anything else, potion and poison have been a strong focus. I developed the intention towards the Tunnels of Set and learning magic after working with Hecate. So learning about different herbs and learning about different levels of magic in that regard. There was a couple of Qlippothic spirits that led me to working really deeply into the tunnels and spending time in the tunnels.
Okay. And I understand you've also been working, as far as the Qlippoth goes, been working with Safaria, Famio, and Pegarian. So tell us how that's been going for you.
It's been very interesting. I don't know how else to put it, but I've been really focused on not focusing on things. And I don't know, it's a different from your typical take on detachment, more or less dissociation. And I see dissociation as an art form as much as it is deteriorating to my personality, long term. It's beneficial on a magical sense because you're able to harness a lot more essence of what chaos really is that way, with less attachment to things here. And I wouldn't say it's a very balanced trade-off or anything like that, but it's definitely a drawback. You can see a response from working in it. So I spent a lot of Tigerion is my self-reflection chamber, so to speak.
Right.
And Thamio is how I kind of dissolve it all. I don't spend too much time. I allow things to integrate more than I spend time trying to understand what it means. I think those things are revealed to me later on when I have contact with people and they need explanations for things. Then I can kind of put it in the words, then I become something that I needed, I guess. If that makes sense.
So in other words, like working with these three at the same time has allowed you to progress.
Yes.
Where you're
tremendously, especially strengthening my astral senses and developing deeper awareness in my dream work too. It's definitely been helpful.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, speaking about the Qlippoth, what would you say are some common misconceptions about the Qlippoth that are going around?
demons, for example, just like the Western conception of demons. It's far more beautiful, and I feel like far more terrifying than a lot of people give credit to, a lot of credence to. I feel like people really have those experiences, they don't speak on them. You know, it's not something that you really, I don't know. It's not something like you could really talk about. It's more or less something you experience, and when you're working with the clipoff, you're like trying to harness a force, more or less, or like a substance that you can't handle, or you know, something to that degree. You know what I'm saying? It feels, it's a lot more volatile in that regard, where you have like no control. You're at the mercy of whatever it is that you're dealing with.
Okay.
You could personify it if your mind allows you to personify it. You know what I'm saying? But from my personal experience, it's a lot more chaotic than that. It's like, imagine trying to harness a storm so you can talk to it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, imagine trying
I
to,
see what you mean. Yeah. Okay. Now, I also understand that you've been working with anti-cosmic Satanism. Go ahead and speak about that for a little bit.
So it's the basis and the foreground of chaosophy, or the theory of chaos, and that everything originates in chaos. Right? Even creation and the existence of creation is a response of chaos. You know, and it only exists because of chaos.
Okay.
Chaos is the container that encapsulates everything. That's what we are at our core. That's what we start as, and that's what we return to naturally. It's a Gnostic view.
Now, is it going through this anti-cosmic Satanism allowed you to increase your better your chanting, and allows you, because you're able to get into a trance now right away, whereas before it had taken you some time.
Yeah, I struggled with it.
Yeah, did this contribute to that?
Definitely. I don't know. I've always had breathing issues. I've always struggled with, you know, things relating to my lungs. I study astrology too, so I know the correlation between, like, you know, my sign and all of that too.
Yeah.
The heart chakra, all of it. But definitely working with spirits, especially a lot of the goetic spirits I've worked with. I've exceeded the levels that I've been able to reach chanting, and it's taught me different ways of unlocking that trance state a lot quicker.
Okay.
You know, working with demons, I strongly attribute it to that, for sure.
Okay. And you've also been working lately on consecrating sound. You go ahead and explain that for a little bit.
Okay, so I've been working with binaural frequency hertz for quite some time now. So I use a combination of blended notes, whether it be like the keys that we find in nature or the tones of planets, and I will layer those tones with specific frequencies that encourage development and enhancement of the consciousness and the awareness of the person listening to you. So that way, whatever information that they're receiving at the time, it's digestible, even if it doesn't make sense, you know, readily right there on a mundane level, that subconsciously it's being unpacked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've spent a lot of time doing it, spent a lot of time experimenting with myself. You know, a lot of people.
Yeah.
Got a lot of different types of atmospheric ritual and meditation music, sound healing music, all sorts of things. We got a lot of interesting feedback from it too. So it's been pretty cool, man. Working with the bowl, the sound healing with the bowl. I recently consecrated our bowl to King Paimon, and that's been, you know, that's interesting. So the symbology that it carries is how Paimon rules over dreams, and the tonal resonance that sound hits, it pierces all dimension. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's a useful offering to any of the spirits, because it can be heard and enjoyed and experienced by everything, every type of thing. It's vibratory.
So, okay, so now this type of chanting that you've been doing and getting into a trance right away, and I understand you've been working with your throat a lot, your throat chakra a lot. Would you say that there's a kind of corresponding crystal that you tend to use when working with your throat and chanting?
Yeah, definitely spend a lot of time with azurite, and then aquamarine. Aquamarine's probably been foundational. There's an aquamarine formation that forms with black tourmaline. That's the one I lean towards the most. I use my voice primarily now recording music, metal music, but my strongest influence in recording that music is Tibetan throat singing.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So the Tibetan throat singing, I think is probably where I experience the strongest resonance and the strongest connection to not just what I'm feeling inside of myself, but then things externally around me.
Right.
It's really interesting.
That is interesting. Now I understand that you and VK have been working on some stuff.
Oh yeah. So there was a project we worked on. It was called Sounds of the Numinous. I was telling you about it. I know we had some technical difficulties earlier.
Right.
I experienced some severe technical difficulties while I was working on that project with VK. I'm surprised it even is a thing.
Right.
The quality kind of varies throughout because a lot of it is just like what was recovered. There's still stuff that, you guys want. I'll never be able to hear again. Nobody will be able to hear again. But yeah, it took a lot of time to come to culmination. It's a very powerful thing. I think a lot more powerful than we give credence to. But it's a self-initiatory system, and it allows you to work with specific numinous spirits. And then there's an addition that comes with path working to work through the Qlippoth and to self-initiate through the Qlippoth. VK created a book of spells and incantations that you can use to work over these Qlippothic initiations, and they're all instrumental and atmospheric instrumental. So you can do the chanting, you can do the hymning over these spaces and develop your own spaces. You can use them to enhance your ritual spaces, empower any of your work, your tantra, sleep work, any of that. Really powerful stuff. It's really cool.
There's also something that called Demonology for Advancement you've been working with. Go ahead and explain a little bit about that.
So that's a spirit coaching service. So developing a spiritual outlook and a magical outlook on, say, like a mundane perspective, so that you can discover your own path, not so much being guided towards a path, but being equipped, to stepping on a path when a path is made available to you, because there's a path, waiting for everyone, no matter, where you are at in your life, you know what I'm saying? So I think the foundational work was the work I had done with Sapphic Mons, and that was on the Tunnels of Set. And a lot of that is explanatory as far as what the symbols mean, what they convey, and why they represent what they represent, and then the manifestations of the work through these tunnels. So if you know anything about Crowley's depiction of the tarot, a lot of the tarot is rooted in these prisons of the Qlippoth, and the prisons of the Qlippoth are the tunnels of Set. And that's where a lot of the dictation and the power of premonition and reading comes from. the tarot. It's guided by those spirits.
Mhm.
So
Now,
that's
you personally, do you find yourself going to the tarot as a form of divination, or do you prefer going in a different direction?
I was gifted the tarot, so that's when I began working with the tarot. I only use the tarot when I really feel called to using the tarot,
Right.
or I'm directed, by a spirit or someone wise in my life. Someone's coming to me with wisdom, channeling wisdom to me that directs me to use it, then I'll use it. But I don't typically use it. I don't read myself every day. I don't believe in doing things like that. I feel like that's kind of destructive, and not in a good way, not in a way that's transformative, but I think just deteriorating, you know.
Yeah, and that's a good viewpoint, because not a lot of people tend to say that. Getting caught up in reading yourself every day and not focusing on other things. I can see
Yeah,
how that can get in the way of your spiritual advancement.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Mm.
it's diluting for sure, and I feel like it can be very self-serving in very haphazardous ways. Not
Mm.
very good. So
All right. And there was now let me ask you this question.
yeah.
Now how accurate would you say is the movie The Matrix at looking at everything as a simulated reality? How accurate would you say that is?
I strongly agree with it. Yeah, I think it's very accurate for sure.
Mm.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know. I can't really speak on it, but like I said, I do strongly align with the Gnostic view of this all just being generated.
A simulation, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does make sense. I understand that there's somebody you wanted to mention in South America who's impersonating some artist.
Oh yeah. So I
Get
still don't
into that.
know the identity of this person. And if anyone is viewing this and can help us uncover the identity of this person, that'd be great. But there was a person impersonating someone by the name of Anklia, recording music, a black metal artist under the name of Uzza, Uzza, an anti-cosmic black metal band. Now, this person supposedly has committed suicide and is no longer with us. After a couple of conversations with a few people that run the metal archives, I learned that there was a man in South America that is orchestrating, is writing all the music and updating the accounts pretty regularly,
Mm.
and had a woman from Sweden doing the vocals on his written material. And they were using the identity of a artist from Russia, a young
Mm.
girl. I don't even know if the young girl's aware that it's been done, but it's been done
Right.
all the way to the point where people believe that this person killed themselves in the name of the practice, in the name of anti-cosmic Satanism.
Mm-hmm.
And it's following a band called Dissection that has ties to the MLO, where the vocalist was tied into a bunch of questionable activity and then ultimately shot himself in the head during a ritual. A ritual that was noted to be from Libra Azerate after some confusion and speculation in the media.
Mm.
So now there's a bunch of people like trying to imitate stuff like that. And
Mm. All right. We're just putting that out there. If anyone is aware of that situation, now you know the truth. So what can we expect from you in the future? What are you working on right now?
So I'm working on a lot of different metal projects right now, actually. Um, I'm in a couple slamming deathcore and slamming death metal projects right now.
Mm-hmm.
One I wanted to bring up in particular is called Paymon. So big new material coming out pretty soon. Another is based out of Taiwan, actually. It's an international effort between me and a guy named Larry Wang. He's the owner of Fat Tubalard Records.
Okay.
He's dope, man. He's a chaotic boss for sure. He's something else. But he and I have been working on a project called Glamour Cadaver.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I'm dropping name of that in media. I don't think anybody's heard anything in reference to any of that. So
Okay.
to put that out there. I just recently dropped a 2-track EP with Ungraceful. It's a band based out of New Jersey. And that's been doing pretty well. So like
Right on.
encourage people to check that out for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And those watching, I'll have all of Sutekh's links below. You can check all his music and his projects out. Sutekh, it's been a great conversation. It's good chatting with you.
Likewise.
And
Man.
yeah, likewise. And everybody watching, go ahead and like, subscribe to Dark Sorcery.